Welcome to the Ambitious Coach Podcast. This is a place where driven, determined coaches learn how to get off the business growth struggle bus and learn how to build a wildly profitable online coaching business. I'm your host, Allison Henderson, corporate dropout to six-figure social media business coach. I'm going to show you how I've been able to create the business of my dreams organically, all through utilizing my social media platforms. So pull up a seat, take some notes, and get ready to see your life and bank account transform. Hello, and welcome back to the Ambitious Coach Podcast. You're going to learn so much from this episode. I invited business therapist Jennifer Jakobsen on to dive deeper into how our limiting beliefs and our thoughts affect how we show up in our business. You all know how much I want you to succeed and how much I truly just want you making that money and having that business and the life that you desire. And I know our beliefs and our thoughts stop us from doing a lot of things that will move us further along in our business journey. It is time we stop that. I want you being fully aware of your limiting beliefs and those thoughts that are holding you back, because I'm someone who believes that your awareness is your key to freedom. So a little bit more on Jennifer before we get started. Jennifer Jakobsen is a certified life and business coach for female entrepreneurs and a master's level mental health therapist. She helps female entrepreneurs create clarity and confidence in their business and life so they can generate more cash. She does this by using her signature method, Clarity to Cash system. Her clients call her their business therapist since she helps them get out of their head so they can actually solve the problems in their businesses. So if you're finding my interviews and these episodes helpful, please share them on your socials and don't forget to tag me at AllisonHenderson_coach. All right. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I have a very special guest today, Jennifer Jakobsen. Jennifer, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, Allison. We have been in touch for a long time in one way or another. I don't even know how I initially found you. I think probably Instagram was.
Well, I would assume Instagram. I feel like every entrepreneur friend that I have, like at one point I messaged them on Instagram. So
absolutely.
Welcome. Yeah, you've been definitely been in my world for at least a couple years now. I feel like you've come to a master class or two of mine, and I always see your friendly face, and I'm just so happy that you're here and you're going to share your wisdom with my online world. I love it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Well, tell people, who are you? What are you all about? And how did you get started in coaching?
Yes. Absolutely. I would be happy to. My name's Jennifer Jakobsen again, and honestly, we can go way, way back. I mean, I have always known that I wanted to help people, women specifically, in one way or another since I think I was in high school. So I was like, I'm going to be a therapist one day. And so I got my undergraduate degree in psychology. And then I went on and got my master's in clinical social work. And I actually did psychotherapy for a while and I loved it. And then we were in Chicago at the time. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, which is where I am now. And I started having my little babies. And I was like, oh my gosh, do I want to keep my license active? And I kind of let it lapse because it was like, why am I spending all this money? I wasn't working for several years because I was just focusing on doing the mom thing, which I know a lot of your listeners can relate to. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get back to work. I really missed that part of myself. And I loved being a mom, but I felt like I just needed to have something else. I knew that I had this other part of me that I was really pushing down. And so I thought about going back into therapy and I was like, oh my gosh, I have 3 girls. It's constant drama all the time.
I can feel you on that. I have 2 little ones and they're constantly at it. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yes. So much. And so I was like, I discovered life coaching and I was like, I really kind of like this spin on helping people because it really focused a lot more on the future, helping people get from where they are now to where they really want to be versus going into the past and trying to figure out what happened in the past that makes me the way that I am now. And I mean, that work is definitely important, but I really like the idea of the forward focused work and helping people achieve their goals. And so I got certified as a life coach about 6 years ago and opened my own business. And as any entrepreneur knows, it's crazy. It's a roller coaster. It's totally up and down. And I went through all of that. And then I realized as time went on and COVID hit, and so many people, so many moms especially, went online and opened their own, businesses online, especially a lot of coaches out there. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I want to help all these women with their businesses because I know how hard it is. And I know how much our mindset can really affect how we show up and how successful we are in business. And so that's what I pivoted to. I don't even know. I think it's been like a year and a half, 2 years that I've been focused on that specifically. And I love it because I really, before we hit record on this episode, mindset is such a huge part of business. And, I definitely think strategy is important and I definitely help my clients with their strategies. But I think one of the things that really lights me up and that I really have a zone of genius in is helping people with their mindset, helping them identify what their limiting beliefs are that are getting in the way, helping them clear those out so that they can show up, so that they can really take the actions to see the results that they want to have. Because, as much as strategy is so important, if you don't have the right mindset when you're trying to implement a strategy, your strategy is going to fall flat every single time. So what I can help women do is really get clear on their mindset, help them, basically overcome the mindset blocks so that when they go back and implement the strategy, when they implement what they've learned, with you or all the other, amazing business mentors out there, they can now show up in a different way and implement it in a much better, more effective way. So that's kind of like the long and the short of it.
Yeah. And I know you focus a lot on limiting beliefs, right? And I think that has a lot to do with what stops us from taking those next steps, right? Like being really showing up confidently. So first off, what is a limiting belief? Because I think we always assume people know what that is, but what is a limiting belief and what are some common ones that you think are stopping people from showing up today?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the exact definition via Google, but
yeah, I guess I should have prepared you for that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, your own words, Jennifer.
Yeah. In my opinion, a limiting belief is just exactly how it sounds. Your thoughts that you have are getting in the way of the actions that you want to take. And really, a limiting belief, the way that you're having a limiting belief is based on the way that you feel or the way that your actions are coming across, right? So if you're feeling, let's just take an example. If you're feeling oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I don't have enough education. Who am I to be, coaching people on such and such a, whatever it is that you coach people on. And you have these beliefs, right? And it doesn't even matter a lot of times, how much success you've had or how much success you haven't had. You just still have these thoughts. And really the thoughts are getting in the way. And a lot of times the feelings that are coming up, right? So if you're feeling not good enough, if you're feeling like you're just, your confidence isn't there, you don't feel great about yourself, right? This is how you're having a limiting belief. You're having a mindset block. And so what we do and what I do with my clients is really get clear on exactly what is that thought that you're having, right? And once you know what that thought is, because a lot of us, the truth is we have 60,000 thoughts a day and most of them repeat themselves and most of them are negative.
100%.
So we have to hone in, what is that thought that's really getting in the way of taking the action that you want to take? Because first we have a thought, that thought causes a feeling, and that feeling causes an action or an inaction, right? Maybe you have the thought, some people feel like I'm too old to do this. I'm too young to do this, right? And that's a limiting belief because truly your age has nothing to do with it. But your thoughts are telling you that. And so that makes you feel a certain way. And if you think, wow, I'm too old or I'm too young, and then you feel like, okay, well, that just feels really crappy, right? And then you don't take action. So you don't show up on social media. You don't show up the way that you need to do. You don't make those offers that you need to make to get people to sign up with you because you have these limiting beliefs. So, and it's different for everybody. Everyone has their own unique, you know, style of limiting beliefs, right? And I've actually
Absolutely.
developed a quiz to help people like really figure out like what is it that most of your beliefs are, what are most of those beliefs around? Like it could be perfectionism. It could be, your beliefs cause you to procrastinate. It could be imposter syndrome. It could be like comparisonitis. And I always say like they sound so scary. Like they sound like diseases, right? Like we say imposter syndrome or comparisonitis. It sounds like there's something really wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. Nothing has gone wrong here. You are absolutely a human being having a human brain that's having a thought, and our thoughts are there to keep us safe. And so it's this tough situation because your brain wants to keep you safe. Your brain doesn't want you to do something new. Your brain wants to keep things, status quo. Your brain doesn't want you to do anything out of the ordinary. And so when you go to launch a program or you go to make an offer and you maybe, are having a sales conversation, it's scary. And the reason it's scary is because your brain wants to keep doing the things the way it's always done it. But that's not how you get to success. Success is all about pushing out of your comfort zone, doing things you've never done before in a way you've never done them before in the past. So obviously you're going to have imposter syndrome. Obviously you're going to have doubts. Obviously you're going to feel not as confident as maybe you normally do. And that's okay. And so, a lot of it's just normalizing that we do have these limiting beliefs. We all have them. And even when even if you're making six figures in your business, you're still going to have limiting beliefs. You're still going to have, because you still have a human brain, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you do something different, time you do something new and out of the ordinary, your brain is going to want to hold you back. And so it's just figuring out what those thoughts are, figuring out how to shift them and tell yourself a new story. Tell yourself, yes, I actually can do this. And, sometimes we look at the past. Well, what have you achieved so far? We have to acknowledge what we've done before. We always have to, give our brain new evidence so that we can move past those thoughts and just find more success in our business.
So beautifully said. Wow, you nailed like everything that I probably wanted to talk about today. As far as like, what are all of the things? You nailed it. And so I'd love to kind of go a little bit deeper in like the how, because I know that's like where a lot of people are going to get hung up here. It's like, what I have this limiting belief, or like I have imposter syndrome. But like, how do I really make that energy shift and that thought shift and let it stick? I think that's the big thing. It's like, I don't want to continue having that thought day after day after day. So what would you suggest? I know this isn't like it's, you just do this once and it's just all going to magically disappear in your brain. It's like, I know this is like repetitions. It's like every day we have to work on this stuff. Even for me, as somebody who has had a very successful business, has hit the 6-figure mark, I still experience these things. And I just know for myself, from my own experience, it's like an everyday thing. It's like, I have to tell myself a new story every day. So that's like how I loved, obviously you're the business therapist here. I'd love for you to go into the how.
Yes. And again, and as a therapist, you have to take each case individually. But I would say the how is really learning how to, once you've identified that thought, and that's sometimes the trickiest thing, but once you know what thought you're having, we need to challenge that thought. We need to say, okay, and again, I use all different kinds of tools to figure out like the best way to challenge this thought. Sometimes we use what's called a thought ladder. So what we would do is we would say, okay, Like, give me an example. Allison, give me an example of a limiting belief or a thought, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. I think a common one, because I even talked about this on my podcast last week, is like, I don't know enough yet. I don't know enough.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So let's take that thought. I don't know enough. How does that thought make you feel?
That I can't show up. That it's hard for me to show up confidently. That, what else?
Yeah.
That I have to take more courses or
right. Yeah.
Right. Like I have to keep investing in myself. That'll make me feel better. That'll make me feel like I know more. I know enough.
Yeah, exactly. And none of that is going to get you where you want to go in your business, right?
Correct.
Taking more courses isn't going to get you there.
Yeah. Listening to more people tell you the same exact thing over and over again.
Yeah, right? So true. Yeah. So what we do is we take that thought, I don't know enough, and we question it and we say, okay, is it true that you don't know enough? And maybe you'll say, well, I don't know everything. Okay, that's true. You don't know everything. It's impossible to know everything. So maybe we take the thought, okay, what's a thought that is a little bit better than I don't know enough, that feels a little bit better? And maybe you'll say, okay, so like the top of the ladder would be like, I know everything, right?
Yeah, I'm a master.
I know everything that I need to know. I'm a master, right? That's a huge jump for people. So we can't just say, okay, change your thought to I know as much as I need to know. I know everything. No one's going to buy into that, right? So we have to go slowly. We have to take that thought ladder and move up the rungs of the ladder. So I don't know enough could be, it's possible that I know enough. It's possible that I know enough right now to make a difference for my clients.
Yeah, I know more than my ideal client. I know more than the person that's going to hire me. Like I keep thinking, like, well, what would be that next thing? Yeah, you're right.
Yes. And so how does that feel different? How does that feel different than I need to go learn more? I need to take another course. Like how does that feel different?
Yeah.
Just saying like, I know a little bit more than my client. Even if I don't know everything, I know a little bit more than my client. I imagine that feels a little empowering. It gives you a little bit more confidence. It gives you that sense that you can help your client and make a difference. And so that's the thought we practice, because we can believe that thought. We can believe that. And we have to build that confidence muscle, just like, we build our muscles when we go to the gym. So we have to keep practicing that thought and keep saying it to ourselves over and over again. And pretty soon, maybe that thought of, yeah, I do know a little bit more than my prospective clients, right? If you practice that thought and you start to really feel solid and believe that one, what's the next best thought that comes after that as we're moving up the ladder? Maybe that's like, I know quite a bit more than my clients. I actually know quite a bit more than them. And that gives you even more confidence, even more, ability to show up and sell your services, sell your offers. So we move up that ladder. So that's just one tool. I mean, there's so many tools, and it really depends on, what the struggle is that that person's dealing with, what's been holding them back. And likely, if they've tried all the strategies and they're still falling flat and they're still not seeing the results that they would like, it's probably a mindset issue. And we just need to get in there and uncover what it is, and uncover exactly what that mindset issue is, and then figure out the right tool to move past that. And then they can go back and take that course that they bought that has not helped them at all. And they can go through that course again with this new mindset, and it's going to be much more effective.
I don't know how many times that I have gone back to courses I bought, like, because maybe I bought it out of scarcity or lack or something, like on one of those days. Trust me, guys, we've all been there. We've all done it. And I go back and I listen to it like with a different lens. And I'm just like, now it's hitting differently. It's sitting differently. And I can actually absorb this in a new way. And I obviously, every time you listen to something twice or three times or whatever, I don't know how many my mentors are like, you're going to want to listen to this like 5 times before everything is like, it'll 100% sink in and make sense. And obviously too, the more that you take action and like you're implementing a lot of the stuff that you get, that you learn inside these programs, and then you listen to it again, you're like, oh, now this makes sense. I can fully understand why she said this or he said this in this way. I would not have understood this the first time around or the first time I took action doing it. So excited. Like I love going back after like expanding and evolving as a human and re-listening to some things that I'm like, now this hits differently. And this is when I needed it the most. And even though I bought it maybe 6 months ago or a year ago, I mean, I've had courses I bought like 5 years ago that now that I listen to it, I'm like, oh, wow, I knew exactly what I needed to know then, but I wasn't at the right mindset to understand it then. So weird.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because it is just like you see things through a different lens. And when you're coming at those courses, you're listening to those courses and you're learning the knowledge, but like until you've developed the mindset that you need to actually implement the knowledge, it's not going to have the same effect as it will if you've overcome those mindset blocks. And again, like you said, like we're never going to be completely over all of our mindset blocks. Like it's going to be there, but we can learn how to navigate them and we can learn how to move them out of the way so we can see everything in this different lens. And that lens is, oh my gosh, when you're seeing it through that lens, you're going to find, that your actions are so different. They're so much more effective. And the results you get are like through the roof more effective than they've ever been before.
Well, and I always tell everyone too, like your energy sells. So if you're really like not excited about what you're talking about, or you can feel that you're just not super confident, and you can hear that in just somebody's voice and their facial, like their expressions. And so sometimes it's really hard from like, I can just tell they're not 100% ready yet, or they're just mentally like they have the education, but there's still something inside of them that hasn't made that full shift of I am XYZ coach. I am an expert or a specialist at what I do, and fully believing that. And like I said, you will get there. Like, and I think I'm telling you, you will be successful. All of these mindset blocks today, or these limiting beliefs, like today, decide to go, what are all these things that are stopping me? And like, kind of do like go up that ladder that Jennifer was saying, like, what is the next belief that I can just slightly change my energy here, slightly change this emotion. I just know if we don't deal with our emotions deal with us. Right.
Yes. So, oh my God, what a great quote.
Yeah. And so I always am like, dissect this emotion a bit. Like, why are you feeling this way? And like, what is that thought that caused you to feel this way? Right. Like kind of just keep going back. Like I feel this way now, or I'm taking these actions now off of, like I said, based off of this emotion, to like go back. You might just have to take some steps back to figure out what that thought was that caused you to do this. I don't know. I'd love your perspective on that, because this is obviously like where you shine here. Like, I just always want to leave this audience with like, why am I feeling this way? And how can I be more successful like in the future? Like that's always my big thing.
Yeah. And I just wanted to mention, so I just posted this quote yesterday in my Facebook group, and it's, you don't become what you want, you become what you believe. And so our beliefs are so key. And what I hear women say a lot is like, why do I need to hire a coach for my mindset? Can't I just do this work on my own? And I will tell you from personal experience, you really can't do this work on your own. Your mindset is it's so crucial, and it's so insidious. It's like the sneaky little thing that happens. And a lot of times we don't even realize it. We don't even realize it's holding us back. And so it's really important to get some help. Either have a business mentor like Allison, hire a business therapist like me. You really can't do this work on your own, because it's like you're too close to it. It's like you can't see the prescription from inside the bottle. You really have to have someone there who's questioning and pushing you and getting you out of, these thoughts that are keeping you safe. We need to move past them. Like it's not ever going to just go away on its own. We have to work on this, and we have to strengthen that muscle all the time.
You're right. Like, I don't know how many times that I just kept saying to myself, oh, I can figure this out on my own. I can do this on my own. Or like my husband can help, my friends can help. And it's like, they can only take me so far. And sometimes we need somebody who doesn't know us at all to like be completely honest with us. And so that's why I love hiring coaches, because I'm like, this is what's going on. Just tell me like what I really need to hear today,
Yeah, exactly.
And they can see what I can't see. They can see the blocks that I cannot see because I'm viewing it from my lens, but they're seeing it from a totally different lens. And we keep using this word lens. I don't know why, but like,
I love it.
but it's true. It's like they're seeing it from a different perspective. I'd love for you too. I'd love for you to share the difference because, you on your social media, you're very much just like, I'm this business therapist. What is the difference between a business therapist and a business coach? I'd love for you to go a little deeper in that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I would say the biggest difference is we do really focus on the mindset blocks that are getting in your way. So a business therapist is, I kind of created this word myself, I'll be honest with you. And it came from my clients. My clients kept saying, Jennifer, you're like my business therapist, because really what we're doing, we're not focusing as much on the numbers. I'm not giving you spreadsheets. I'm not having you track data. Like that's not me. But what I will do is I will ask you the tough questions. I will ask you like, what is stopping you from doing XYZ? And the difference is that we're going to dig deep. We're going to really figure out like what's in your way. Why is that thing in your way? What can we do to move it out of your way? And how do we get your strategies really going forward? So again, it's like dealing with the thoughts so that we can feel differently. So when we feel differently, right? When we have more confidence, when we believe in ourselves, we believe in our offers, we feel amazing about what we have to give the world, we take different actions. Yeah. And unless you're taking different actions with, like you said, Allison, that energy, right? You can't just say like, okay, I'm going to change my thought and then it's changed and you're just going to show up differently. It's not that easy. So the business therapy is we're really digging into how can we shift these thoughts so that you're showing up differently, so that you are coming across as authentically you, right? Because, and this is the sad thing, a lot of business owners, a lot of, coaches, entrepreneurs out there are like shifting who they are so that they can show up differently on social media. They're like, okay, well, I'm going to actually change like who I am, right? I'm going to like try to fake it till I make it, right? They're going to show up not who they truly are. And what that leads to is, number one, everyone can tell that you're faking it, right? Everyone can smell. They can smell your doubt. They can smell your, you know what I mean? Your doubt and your lack of confidence, your lack of, self-esteem in what you're doing. And also, if you're not being authentically you online, if you're not being authentically you in your content, through your posts, your emails, whatever, over time, that's going to lead to burnout. You're not going to be able to do it anymore. But if you can really step into who am I truly and really become like very comfortable and confident, feel amazing about who you are, and then show that in a really, really authentic way, in a really, really comfortable way to your audience, they're going to be drawn to you because people love people who are authentic, right? I imagine for you, Allison, like Allison is like who she is who she is, right? She doesn't show up different from one way. We've been in touch for a long time, and what you see is what you get. But if people are showing up as someone who they're really not, it's not going to work. It's like, it's not a long-term business plan. So that's the difference. So did that make sense? I get all fired up when I talk about this.
No, you make complete sense to me for sure. And if anyone who's listening to this pod, if you guys have questions, please message Jennifer. We'll help you through this. I want to make sure that everybody who's listening, you're not silently struggling through this. There are people out there like Jennifer that are super intuitive about figuring this out and helping you through this. And you're obviously highly qualified to help people. And it just one of those things for me. It's don't wait too long for this. So I don't want this to fester and then it manifests into something. And all of a sudden you just give up on your business because you feel like this isn't what you want to be doing, or this is what you should be doing. It's not working. It's sometimes it does just take asking for help and getting those mindset shifts that you need so that you can feel just really that you just love your business again. I think that's the whole thing. It's I want you being so in love with your business and obviously with yourself, like that's a big thing too. Like I said, being authentic and like, of course we're always embodying who we truly want to be, but like we're evolving as well. And like, yes, you might be changing. Like there's gonna be stages of your life and phases that you're gonna be going through and struggles, right? Like every struggle, I had a note written down. I'm like, every struggle you've had has been a growth opportunity. Every single struggle, like just instead of saying struggle, just say, I'm going through a growth spurt. That's it. I'm going through a growth spurt right now. I have to go through this in order, and I might not be able to see it right now why I'm going through this, but like, it's for something in my future. It's for me to evolve and embody something for myself. And I just know that. I know that every single time I'm having a struggle with something. And so having somebody like said, like Jennifer, to like kind of help you through this. So like, I don't want this to be like 6 months down the road, you haven't gotten a client, or you feel like you can't even sell on social media because you have a lingering thought. You have this belief, you have something inside of you that's really stopping you from showing up and being your most authentic, true self that you can see. Like I always say, like when you close your eyes and you see yourself, like that's who you really are. But like there's just steps that you got to take to get there. And a lot of it's the mindset BS that we just don't want to acknowledge. And like I said, like having some help through that is like, that was a game changer for me when like somebody sat with me and like I did visualizations, I did those meditations. I really sat there and like went through every single limiting belief, and I still have them, trust me. But like, and this is something I always like to tell people too, is like, it might not be your fault you have this belief, but it is your responsibility.
Yes. Yes. That's beautiful. Allison, and I just want to point out, because like it's so obvious to me that you have done a lot of mindset work yourself. And the way that I can see that, the way that I can hear that is by what you're saying. Your thoughts have probably shifted a lot since when you first opened your doors as an entrepreneur, and you see everything that happens that might, someone else might see it as a negative, you see it as a learning opportunity. And so that is a success mindset. And that is why you're so successful. That is why you have achieved what you have achieved in your business, is because you have that success mindset. And so I love what you just said. Yeah, don't struggle with this. Don't allow yourself to keep struggling, because I can't remember the statistic. I think I heard it like earlier this week or something. It was like 80 to 90% of coaches like throw in the towel within the first year of their business. And it's because of this. It's because of the frustration. It's because of, and I love that you said, like, you have to love your business, but you also have to love yourself. And you have to know that your business, like if you're not seeing the success that you want to see in your business, that doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that you haven't had success yet, and you're going to. We just have to tweak some things in your mindset so that you can go back, switch that strategy up, and see what we can change. Because honestly, like sometimes women, I think especially, like if we're not doing as well as we want to do in our business, we think it means something about us. And it doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't mean, that you don't know what you're doing, or you're not smart enough, or like you said earlier, you got to go take another course or watch another masterclass online for free. No, you need to get your mindset straight. You need to get the success mindset going. And once you can do that, it's going to be such a game changer for you. It's life-changing. And mindset doesn't just apply to business. It applies to every part of your life. Once you're able to shift these thoughts, you will not only be more successful in your business, you're also going to be more successful in your life.
100%. Like, and this is the thing too, like your business is going to bring up everything for you.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like it's the best self-development tool. Like it's one of those things, like my day job brought up stuff like when I was in my 9 to 5, but like, wow, starting my own business, I had to look at every piece of me, the good, the bad, the ugly. And, it's just like, oh my God, I didn't realize I did these things, or I said these things, or like all the things, guys. Like I literally have had to look at every piece of myself. And don't get me wrong, I've had because I had to do that, like I've had those bad days where you sit there and go, wow, I didn't realize this about myself or whatever. But because Jennifer was saying, I do have a success mindset. Like I do try to spin everything and being like, why do I feel this way? And like, how can I make this just a part of my growth and my like embodiment of who I truly want to be? Right. Like every day I strive to be, well, authentic, of course, but like to really, when I see that, like that true higher self or my, my future self, like every day just taking steps to get there. So I'm still not, I'm still, like I said, evolving. I think we're always going to be evolving. Like I even know when I hit a milestone or I hit something, I'm like, oh, but there's more. Oh, there's more. And they're gonna, like, the universe is gonna throw more stuff at me. And I'm like, I'm never gonna be done. And and I guess I'm not saying that in a way of like, oh, I'm never gonna be done. I just now look at life of like, this is a life that we're living. And like, we're here to learn these lessons and we're here to just really like learn to love ourselves and like have fun. And I don't know. Like I guess I definitely, like I said, I've come a long way. 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't be saying stuff like this, but like, yeah, like I just feel like my life has changed so much because I've worked so much on the mindset component of my life and my business.
Yeah, it's so key. It really is. And yeah, and I love it because it doesn't have to be this scary thing at all. You've done the work, and it's almost like exciting to be able to keep doing that work and to keep growing and to keep developing and becoming a better and better version of yourself, So that's why I'm so passionate about this work. I love seeing the transformation that women can achieve through this work. It's really life-changing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, Jennifer. So any last words of wisdom?
God, there's so many things I could say, but what I really want to say right now is like, it's okay. Like, I just want to normalize it. And I want to let everyone know, like, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, if you're struggling, if you're having a hard time, if you're like, this business is it's really tough, it's so up and down, or maybe it's been down for a long time, don't give up hope. Like, you are totally normal. There's nothing wrong with you. And having these mindset blocks are part of being human. And so just know that you're totally normal and you don't have to do it alone. There's people out there to help you. And, people like Allison, they're very heart-centered. They really want to make a difference for you. There's a lot of, not so great coaches out there, but the good ones when you talk to them because they truly, truly care. So know that you don't have to do this alone.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Oh, you're so sweet. So how can people find you? Like, I guess tell people too, like, I want to make sure that like, where do you hang out? Like, where's your community? Like, obviously I want you pitching yourself too. Like, how can people hire you?
Yeah, well, I have both one-on-one VIP coaching for those people who really love the intimacy of being in a one-on-one container. I also have really small group coaching for those people who love to be around other people, but also want that one-on-one attention. I don't offer big, huge mastermind groups. I've gotten lost in those myself. So I want to give you a really safe container to really, just be able to be you and be able to explore what makes you authentically you and really be able to take those actions so that you can start to see the success that you totally deserve. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm sure Allison will put the info in the show notes. I'm at J Jakobsen Life Coach. And yeah, and anyone that wants to chat with me, I love chatting. I like using social media to be social. So come over and be social with me. And then I also have a quiz that I'd love to offer to your listeners. It's so much fun. Like, first of all, guys, I just want to say, like, I'm your business therapist, and that could sound scary, but everything I do is fun. Like, we have fun together. We dive deep, but we don't do it in a scary way. And this quiz is so much fun. It's called basically Uncover Exactly What's Keeping You from Earning More Cash in your business. And it will help you identify what your biggest mindset block is. So give you a little insight on that, and then give you the next steps in terms of how to start to shift those blocks and how to get out of your own way. So we will link that as well in the show notes. But yeah, I'd love for you to take that quiz and just, let me know what you think. Jump over to Instagram and let me know like what your results were, how it was for you, if you were surprised, if you were like, oh yeah, this is obviously me. Most people end up feeling that way. And then I will give you some definite action steps to take to get out of your own way.
That's perfect. All right. Yeah. I'll put everything in the show notes, guys. Please take that quiz. And Jennifer, you also have a podcast too, right?
I do. I have my own podcast. It's been going on for over a year now. It's been super fun too. It's called Clarity to Cash. So everywhere you find your podcasts.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate you guys. Please go follow her on Instagram, take that quiz, listen to her podcast, do all the things. And yeah, it's just been such a pleasure chatting with you. So thank you.
Oh my gosh. It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Allison.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening to the Ambitious Coach podcast today. A couple favors before you go. If you found this episode helpful, please take a screenshot and share it on Instagram. Most importantly, don't forget to tag me at Allison Henderson _coach. That's ALLISON Henderson_coach. And lastly, please take a minute to rate this episode and leave a raving review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you tune in to listen. Okay, ambition is great, but it's time to get to work. Take action and commit to being 1% better every day. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again next week.